Live it up.
All right, Black Box Radio. We are live. We are in the box. I am cool. Baltimore. Baltimore's cool today, but we thought it was getting warm, but it's cool. So I'm in Be More in the box. I'm actually in the actual box. I'm on my way back to Mount Pleasant though, very soon, South Carolina. But right now I'm in the box in Baltimore, and we are in the Black Women History Month 2024 series. So we have commissioned six dope women. Six. So as of today, we're on five of six. You see that young lady over there? We're going to talk to her in a second. But we're at the fifth iteration of this amazing series that we platform Black women annually every year. So this is so beautiful to sit in space with Black women. I'm Queen. I'm a host at Black Box Radio. Black Box Radio is a media platform illustrating Black excellence. We expose Black genius. We disseminate information to the community. And we also, more than anything, humanize the Black experience. That's important. So we talk about Black stories. We're authentically Black. And we do this 6 to 7, 8 times enough. We need you to like, share, subscribe. I need you to go again, like, share, subscribe. We need to black up the algorithm, guys. Black Box Radio, so we can grow. Please go and subscribe to our YouTube. You can just subscribe to Facebook, but let me tell you, I'm fresh out of Facebook jail. I stay I stay in death row. So I just came home, real talk. So please go to go to YouTube and subscribe because I stay in jail. So in YouTube, we don't have any interruptions. So like, share, subscribe, leave us a message at blackboxradio@gmail.com. We also have gmail.com, but we also have a website. You can subscribe to that. That is blackboxradio.com. Please check that out and subscribe to that also. So again, guys, that's all the business. We get ready to jump right in to the Black Women History Month series. We got our fifth person, our fifth Black woman. This is our Griot, our history maker. Someone's going to tell us a little bit about history in South Carolina, the American Black in South Carolina. So please welcome Henrietta Snype. Say hi to the people.
Hello to the people, and thank Black Box Woman for allowing me to be your guest.
I love it. Black Box Woman. That's beautiful. So, we're so happy to have you. And when I thought of the series this year, Mr. Ritter, I thought that, listen, we got to have something historical. We got to talk about history a little because Black history cannot be a mystery. That's what we're not going to let it be. So we need to talk about things that is more contiguous to us as a people, and the lost art of things that we've had over the years that's dying off. So there's things that we need to talk about. We need to kind of get other people, especially up north where I live. We're not very familiar with the history in the South. 60% of most Black Americans in this country descended from Charleston Harbor. They have a descendant that came through Charleston Harbor. So Charleston is very important in the history of the African American. And so you're down there. I descend from down there. That's my spot, the Chuck. And so we got Sean Best in the house. He said, "Hi, Auntie, be blessed." So you got some family look like that's already supporting you. So kind of tell us a little bit first about you. Who is Henrietta Snype? Where you're from, that type of thing. Let's talk about you first, then we're gonna jump in.
I'm from South Carolina, Mount Pleasant, born and raised.
Okay.
I've lived here all my life, but travel all over the world and talk about the wonderful experience of the history of the baskets. But the basket was one of the great staple for South Carolina and especially the Mount Pleasant area. I When I started doing baskets, it wasn't something that I really wanted to do, but it was mandatory because I like when I got old enough to get away from it, I said I am never ever going back to that again. I
Okay.
worked in the school system for 10 years. Um, and then I decided when my grandmother got ill in 1989 after Hurricane Hugo, I decided, this is something special because when you lose the legend or the professor in your family who taught you this wonderful craft,
Mm-hmm.
you have to start thinking a little bit different. Because when I was younger, I had no idea that I would be doing the things that I'm doing now, as far as travel all over the world, have my work 2 or 3 times at the Smithsonian. I had no clue, none at all. And then I
Wow.
got back to it. When I came back to it, I wanted to be an artist, and I still wanted to capture the history of learning the history of a young adult in the community. So I had a typewriter with a bad ribbon. And so I sat down one day and I typed a letter to the Arts Commission. And
Hmm.
I wanted to be known as an artist and not just a basket maker. And so I had a reply back. It came back as a registered artist.
Whoa.
And I decided I wanted to go to these artist conference. And
Mm-hmm.
the conference that I went to was in Columbia, South Carolina. And this is a conference for art teachers to come and principal to come to gain and get artists for their school.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my booth set up with my business cards that I had made up. And I was telling them what I would like to do is to share this craft in the school. Well, I got like 4 invitations the first year, and I would go back almost every year. And then the next year, I got like 10. And then the following year, I got like 20. And I go, oh, Lord. And I decided, well, I think I've got myself together. And when you set up an email address and all of these things come up later on, then
Mm-hmm.
people start finding me. And then the word got out long before email, where people just had my phone number and they'd give it to other schools and said, you might want to have her to come to your school because she was excellent at my school. So word of mouth was more popular than all of these technology stuff that we have to deal with, that I'm still dealing with.
You know what? The
So
old stuff always works.
yeah,
Yeah, we always want to.
I'm still going to print business cards.
Oh, I
So
love it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're not
yeah,
QR coding it yet. No QR code
right.
yet.
I'm not quite there yet, but hopefully I'll get there.
Well, let
But
me ask you
anyway,
a
and
question. Let me ask you a question
sure.
first. So your mother knew this art. We kind of I want to kind of hear the history. So your mother knew the art. Your grandmother. How did it get to your hands?
Okay. This art actually came from the Senegal area of Africa. And when the enslaved came to South Carolina, they were broken up into many areas of South Carolina.
Sure.
You had all of Sullivan's Island, and you had Mount Pleasant. And my ancestors' area were from Mount Pleasant at Boone Hall Plantation. So certain areas in Mount Pleasant, you wouldn't even find basket makers because they family never learned how to do it. And it's all based on how they were brought in and the things that they kept up with, I guess, with their ancestors as well. But
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother's mother was part of the ancestors for Boone Hall Plantation, and this is where we gained the knowledge of knowing where we originally got our goods from. Is to say, Boone Hall Plantation, my great grandmother, and then it grew from the plantation where when the enslaved were free, that they had a basket stand. There was never there was always an artery for them to find a way. And there was one woman had a raggedy old chair, and they put it on Highway 17. She put one basket on a raggedy chair,
Mm-hmm.
and then that one basket got sold. So later on, she put 2 baskets, and that one got sold until that chair was completed. So she decided she wants to build a stand, and she had a stand made and then put baskets on the stands. Other basket makers noticed the same thing. So they started doing that. And this is really how the stands got promoted along Highway 17 and artery from 17 all the way to almost McClanavel, past McClanavel. But basket makers originally stops right in the certain areas from, they would call the area like 4 Mile
Mm-hmm.
and 7 Mile and Hamlin and Phillip. Those are the artery people that really did the baskets. And when you were young, you had no choice but to do the basket, whether you want to do it or not.
Oh,
You
so
had to
it
learn.
was
You had to learn how
mandatory.
to
We had
do
to
that.
learn it. Okay.
Oh, you don't have a choice, honey. There's no
Boys and
choice.
girls, or is this a gender thing?
The girls did more, and the men did basket back in way back then too. But men were more of the gatherer. They gathered material.
Got it.
But young ladies had to learn how to cook. Had to learn how to clean, and the basket was one of the stuff that you really had to learn to do. That you really didn't want to do, but
Oh,
again. You didn't have a choice back then. Today, young people have a choice what they want to do. They're going to tell you what they're not going to do. So we didn't have that kind of choice. So
Yeah,
we have to
that's
make
changed
sure
a
that
lot.
we know the deal. If we did not do what we're supposed to do, we know the consequences we had to face. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's just amazing how this art has dated back so far from the early 1600 and
Mm-hmm.
still striving. And the younger generation now, they've taken a liking like I did. They're coming back. You know, like the younger people are doing better, even though they have a professional
Mm-hmm.
job, and it costs them more to live, and the cost of living is high. They still want to make sure that they learn and understand. But it depends on your teaching. You know,
Mm-hmm.
my kids know how to do it. I've got my son Donovan. He he lived in Pittsburgh, and he decided he wanted to learn how to capture and continue this art form. So he put a lot of his work in frame. It's beautiful, and he's left-handed. So when he
Mm.
first started learning how to do it, it didn't look pleasing to me. So then I recapture what I learned when I was younger. If it's not right, you got to start all over. And
Mm.
a couple of pieces that he have now where he can see the difference from the quality. The quality makes a difference, and it's the way
Mm-hmm.
you were taught. And if
Sure.
you were taught to do it with quality, it's going to always stand as quality. So I didn't accept it, just like my mom and my grandmother. They
Oh, so
didn't
he had to
accept
start
nothing.
over. I know he
Yeah, I
was
had to start
mad.
over. You
Yeah, I
know,
know
you
he
can
was
have
hot.
a nice, good size you done for the day, but you're really not done for the day because
Ooh, because you got
you
to
have to
start
pull
over.
back. You have to start over, and
Oh,
that's what take us a lot of start
okay.
grumbling or saying you don't want to do this. So
Mm-hmm.
we really had to do it the correct way. You know, we
Got
didn't
it.
have a choice. You know, it didn't have a choice. So my grandmother and my mom were my great professors.
Got it. So they are the ones who
My grand
started you, and it was in your
Yes,
household. Your grandmother
right.
was the professor. Your mother was good at it, and then it was passed on
Yes,
to you.
excellent. My grandmother would make a basket that has a top, and when you put the top on, you can actually hear it snap. That's how great and firm it was.
A basket snapping.
A basket. They had no measurement, didn't know anything about measurement, but when she puts a top on the basket, it just snaps right on. You can hear the snapping because that's perfection.
She could
It's
eye
not
it,
going to
so
be,
she was eyeing
yes,
everything. Wow,
yes, yeah.
wow,
And
wow.
so, and another thing when you're working on basket, it has to have a signal of meaning something. You just don't keep working, but you have to get a pattern. You have to match up things to make sure that your palmetto is straight. I don't care how large the basket is. You
Mm-hmm.
take the palmetto strip that's used for the binding. It's our state tree.
Mm-hmm.
It's wrapped around the grass, which is the sweetgrass, the palmetto, and the pine needles. That palmetto acts as a thread, but it has to match up every time you go around that basket.
So let me ask you a
You're going to
question.
take
You talking in language I don't know. What is so palmetto? Kind of
palmetto
explain.
is the palm from the tree that they use for Palm
So the
Sunday.
palmetto tree.
Yes. We
Also, you
take the
use.
we take the center part out.
Uh-huh.
The
Uh-huh.
center of that tree is taken out and let it cure for about maybe a week or so. And
Hmm.
then we have this tool that was used that once they used the tool on the plantation, it was the cow bone. You know, after the animal was killed, they would
Yes.
save the rib bone, and that was used as a tool to work with.
Oh my goodness, man! Because the palmetto
Nothing
tree
is
is
thrown away. Nothing is ever
nothing
thrown
thrown.
away.
Wow, because the palmetto
Even
tree is the state tree
it's
in
the
South
state tree,
Carolina. Okay, I
right?
got it. All right,
But we don't use the outer branches. We use the center,
the
and the
center.
center of the tree is what we use. We pick a sharp knife or machete, and then you cut the center out,
Mm-hmm.
and then you take a tool. They used to use the cow bone. We call it a bone. Then it
Mm-hmm.
was the nail. They would pound a nail down, and now we use a spoon handle, which you see. Well, I don't have it on today, but the spoon handle is filed off to a real sharp point, and that's still we still call it a bone, just for that traditional name.
Just for that. Got it. And so you
Mhm.
use so sweetgrass. So I want to talk
We
a
use
little bit
this.
about sweetgrass. Is that grown? Is that's always grown in a marsh near water? Am I correct? Or
Sweetgrass is there two different kinds of sweetgrass. There's a sweetgrass that's behind the second dune, and then there is sweetgrass is like in the wooded area in certain areas.
got it.
It's a tricky grass to find, but their grass used to be very popular back 30, 40 years ago, where you could go to the John's Island or Kiowa or wherever to collect the grass. And Florida, any place on the coastal area, you could find sweetgrass.
It's a
But
wild
development
grass.
has, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but sweetgrass is very tricky. You got two different types. You have one that's very thick, and that's the one that grows near it's like a dune grass. And then the softer texture is the one that's found in the wooded area.
Okay.
But you can only collect it at a certain time of the year.
Oh, wow.
Then it bears a beautiful purple flowers that have seeds on it that germinates itself for the next season.
Got it.
And
So
then
is it hard to procure now? Is this grass hard? Because all the development in South Carolina is booming with development. So and
development is taking over. Development
Yeah.
is really taking over, and it's so sad. Some places you go, you have to get permission. Some places you're not allowed to go. So it's really a hard thing to keep up with this craft because of the sweetgrass.
the
But
sweetgrass.
they are studying the grass now to see if it could grow, you know, in certain areas and stuff like that. So
And when I was told that snakes like it.
you better know it. Snakes love it, and then the bulrush, you have to go in the swamp. That's what the alligator loves. Okay.
No, ma'am. It won't be no
Yes.
grass over here, no, ma'am. So you
Well,
saying the
that's the
alligator?
only way you. That's the only way you can get the material. Well, you know, I was never big on I was never big on getting sweetgrass, because I went my first experience, and you have to learn to do it if it's part of your culture. You got to learn everything about the craft,
That's so
and
true.
especially, you know, people like me, when I travel, I have to say, well, where did you get it from? Did you go out and get it yourself? And I had to have that experience. And then when I teach it, I have to show the kids where it comes from as well, so they know the complete.
Got
Did
it.
go out a couple of times and with my uncle, and I was pulling some sweetgrass, and under the underbrush, I heard some rattling, and I just dropped everything I had and left. I never went back to pull another sweetgrass again. So
For the rest of my life, I would never pull another grass.
I will pull if it's an ornamental and they got it out part of a shrubbery, but not actually go on a trip. That's not my area. That's not my area.
That's not my area, because that's what I heard, that you know, the snakes love it, and then you're saying in the swamp, actually the alligators.
Right, with that bulrush, because see, bulrush is a real thick blade grass that grows in the swamp that they use for baby Moses, and that's what I use on the larger piece of my basket. And you tell the story about Moses and the bulrush, and then you know that bulrush, if it held Moses on down the river, it's a sturdy grass to use. So bulrush was really a grass that we really never used until the sweetgrass got scarce, and then we incorporate the bulrush a little bit more with the grass.
Oh my
So it's
goodness.
about 30 years or more that the bulrush was really used because of diminishing of the sweetgrass.
The sweetgrass. Okay. So when it comes to the history, like you're saying this descends from Senegal, basket weaving. Am I correct? Did you say
Yes, the sweetgrass basket comes closer to the connection of the Senegal area. And when you look at the basket, the Senegal basket, you can almost it's like putting a puzzle together to see the coiling. It's almost the same. And that's why the identity shows like, boy, it looks just like sweetgrass from South Carolina. But again, when our ancestors came now, we know the Senegal area.
Yes.
But they didn't have the materials, but in their mind, they had to come up with something to keep going. So the sweetgrass, the palmetto, the pine needles, and the bulrush is what they came up with. Because I worked on Boone Hall Plantation, which gave me thrills and chills and fever as a tour guide at one time. And if you've ever been to Boone Hall Plantation, if you ever get an opportunity, there is a stream right there in that area where the enslaved came in. Material that was used is still there. You could still get palmetto. You could still get some sweetgrass. You could still go into that swamp and get bulrush because everything was there. So that's what they came up with that idea.
I love you, Mama.
It is a story.
I'm not going to Boone Hall because I'll be real angry. Yeah. I won't even go there for a wedding. I'm not going there at all. So they can have.
I didn't work there too long. That was a job I had after school.
Okay. That's something. And one thing, when you say, like, for our history, like Senegal, from if you stand on Charleston Harbor to Senegal, there's no land in between. So there's no
No,
encumbrance in between Africa and Charleston Harbor. So it's a
no,
straight shot. So when you say
it's a
Senegal
shot.
and being that horn, it makes sense that we have this ancestral memory in Charleston, because so many of our people came through those harbors. So
It
they
came
might not
right to the harbor.
they might not use the same tool. They might augment the grass a little, but it's still the memory of the from which you learned from actually from Africa. So it's ancestral memory.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing.
And that's
And
all
so
they had. That's all they had to base it on, the memories, and then
exactly.
try to figure out a plan. So we got to have a plan because we have to survive.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's the baskets is what is a staple signature for survival.
When I grew up, this is full disclosure, growing up in Mount Pleasant, I remember getting on Highway 17. There was a plethora of stands. They were up and down the highway, and you would see cars pulled up because the highway was only 2 lanes. Now it's 45
Mhm.
lanes. But when I
Right. And now,
was a
you know,
kid,
yeah,
it
this
was
the
only two
the stand
lanes
is another problem that bothers me a lot.
because they moved all the
I
stands now. They're gone.
No, there is a lot of stands there now. There's a
Well,
lot of stands on seven.
not as much as when I was young. They were on top each. I mean, they were
Yeah,
on top.
they were on top. But see, again, too, we lose a lot of the older one, and the younger one move on to college and got a better education, and
That's
they
true.
feel like they didn't have to do this, and so
Absolutely.
they didn't come back to the stands. So the stand just got rot, and now they build new stands. But my feelings and my theories about those new stands is sad because
They got doors
there is
now.
nobody on there. There's nobody on there.
Yep.
You can build a new house for a basket stand. You can build tons of stand, but you got to build the craft within teaching somebody else, the next generation.
That's true.
And the highway is too dangerous now. If somebody going 60 miles an hour on Highway 17, sometimes faster than that, when are they really going to stop to get a basket?
Yeah, it's no way to pull off. They didn't respect that, because I remember there used to be cars all on the side pulled off.
There's no shoulder to pull off
There's no
unless you lived
shoulder.
on 17. If you've got
Exactly.
a house near 17, they'll pull in your driveway. But all these new stands are popping up with colors, and it's beautiful, but there's nobody there.
Yep. Yep.
There
And so
is
that's
nobody
why, I
there.
wanted to talk about the art, because the art is,
Right.
to me, from when I grew
You
up
have to promote the art in order
I
to get
saw it
somebody to
all
do
the
something.
time, and I don't see it
Right.
as much. And then even when you go to downtown Charleston, it's one lady maybe by not too many people are selling baskets outside. Neither. It used to be people downtown Charleston, but that's not happening neither. From
Well, you
what
got
I
the
see
market area where
at
you
the
still have
market.
some people. Yeah, you've got people from the market
Mm-hmm.
still got basket stands, 2 and 3 basket stands on 17, but they still want to go in the market because it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous.
I get
And then
it.
you got people that might want to go on the stand, but they're afraid to go on the stand because they figure it's ownership, and it's really not ownership because
Anybody can use those
it's not
things.
your land. It's not your land. So if
Yeah.
you're not going to be on those stands, give somebody who really want to be on those stands an opportunity, because you have to learn how to share. I mean, we don't have, you put your name on it, but do you pay taxes on that highway? It's really
Mm-hmm.
not your stand. It's, you may have built it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's share with the other one who wants to go. Again, a lot of the basket makers have gone to market, and they just
And they
decided
sell them in the
they want to
market
stay
too.
in the market
Okay.
because it's
Got it.
dangerous on 17. I tell you the truth, very dangerous.
And I see your earrings. You have a Kyrie shell with a little basket. That's cute. Look at you.
Yes, the shell, and then I
Look at
have the
that
spoon
guy.
handle that's split.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful. Yeah,
this
that's
is one of a kind that I made especially for me. So I guess I'll be making more with the shells, but this
yeah,
is a one of
Mama
a
Hen.
kind.
You're gonna have to get your little sister one of them. That's
Okay, sister.
yeah, you gotta get your little sister one of them.
Everybody is my sister when I'm wearing something that they
I'm
want
your
to.
daughter then, whatever you want me to
Almost,
be.
yeah. Everybody is my sister. That's okay.
Okay, I'll be anything. So
Mhm.
we have some good. We have Ricardo Ray said Black Excellence. Jason Herbert said this is wonderful, and we got the Bean
Oh
Queen.
wow.
I'm gonna see you tomorrow, Bean Queen. I'm coming to get that fish, so I'm gonna see you tomorrow. We had Monica Cooper yesterday. Yeah, the Bean Queen got some food going on, so I'm gonna see her tomorrow. And
Okay.
we had Monica Cooper last night, so it looks like she's in here too. So I just want to
Oh, that's nice.
some of the folks that's in the chat.
That's very nice. Very nice.
So you have some items behind you.
Yes,
and
behind me.
Behind me. We want to see them. I introduced it with your earrings, but look at that. There's something
behind
over
me.
there,
Is,
honey.
Each one of these are different with the animal bones. This is a necklace.
Oh wow!
And then this is the spoon handle.
Ooh.
All of these pieces are also one person. I showed her 2 or 3, and she said I need 4 more, and I'm still in the process of making some more. So
that is
this is to tell the story of the animal, the basket, and the spoon.
And the spoon. Wow.
The spoon, the part that you eat with, is taken off with a grinder, and you put it back to the necklace to tell the story.
Go back
and
just
the,
a little.
The handle, handle that you use to hold to eat with, is used as the tool to work with the basket.
All right, push it back some so we can see. Yeah, there we go. So that's a spoon, and then that handle is how you make the basket. Oh, right. And you wear that around your neck?
You could wear it around your neck, and then there's one with 2 handles. You can wear it as a belt buckle.
Oh man. Wow.
I'll show you that.
If I was to walk up on that, what would I pay? How much I got to put on the table to get something like that?
To put this on the table out of your wallet or your debit card, it's about $150. $150. We keep something that people can afford to buy.
So that's a Benji. Listen. All right. Okay, Vanna White. Let's see your next item. That is beautiful. And so that spoon is how you weave the basket, right?
And I'm spoiled. I don't use the stainless steel. It has to be sterling.
Oh, it has to be sterling silver.
Well, if I'm going to signify, the sterling is easy to file and smooth down. And if I'm going to do the high-end thing to make it look right, I want to make sure that I use sterling. And I go to flea markets and antique shops, and I tell them what I'm doing, and most of the time they give it to me.
Beautiful, beautiful.
This is something that I wanted to show my Donovan Snype. I tell you, they're coming back.
Yeah, push it back.
His work is Donovan's work is in a frame.
Oh wow, that's like art. He's like set it up like, oh, that is.
And he's left-handed, so that means every left-handed weaver, they never lose their stitching. They always matches up.
Because
I've never seen a left-handed weaver.
Wow. Look at that.
Then
and that's done by a young man.
My son, Donovan.
Men can do this, guys, because we put everything in gender. This is our history. Black history is not a mystery. Men can do this.
I like that.
This is a Black man who's left-handed who weaved. You a right-handed, Mama Hen?
I'm right-handed. It was hard for me to teach him because I'm right-handed. But now, since I was teaching in the school, I had to practice because I went to one school one time, and in one of my class, I had about 15 kids left-handed. I thought I was going to die. Yeah, because I didn't know.
So that's a left-handed stitch. Wow.
Right. And you have to teach. You can't discriminate because the person is left-handed. So I came on and I had to practice, and Donovan, he made perfection by his frame and his.
I love it.
So they are coming back, but they're coming back in a different format.
Got it, Mama.
And then I have another piece of his.
She's left-handed. I mean, she want to learn, Mama Hen, that she's telling you she's left-handed.
See, and then we try to do things even with the color variation of the grass. See, Donovan matted this himself.
Yes.
With the wheat color fabric.
Yes.
And then he put this on top of it. And
what would that be like? Is that like a plate holder? What is that little round? What is that called?
That's just the base part. That's just the base part that's framed. Actually, you can sit it down as a piece of art collection.
Oh, okay. So that's just a collection. Okay.
They're all framed. They're all framed. Yes.
That is really.
And I think when he does it, he just doesn't throw it together. He put his color scheme together because this color represent the grass, and then the bulrush represent the color of the frame. So you have to be a real artist and be thinking. You just can't throw stuff together. to make it, pop out.
How much would that be, Mama Hen?
I don't know what Donovan got on this one. I think this one is 325.
Mama Hen, did you say 325?
325.
This is a business. My Lord. That's
Yeah. And then I think this one is 275. That's a small one. But this is a larger piece here.
This is how we know that this type of art is, first of all, it has to be commissioned. And this is something that people are, this is their art, this is their expression of their art. So you have to pay for that. So that's $350. Woo! It's beautiful. That's beautiful. I can we can display that in the box. We can put it up here wherever you want me to put it. We can put that in the box, okay? I like that. I like that. So all right, let's look at the big joint. He said, Jason Herbert said, even in the Smithsonian. That's right.
Yes, the Smithsonian has been carrying my work.
Love it. And Donovan is on. Hey, Donovan. Listen, Donovan, I'm trying to get the last one, Donovan. You got to send that to your sister. We don't have to talk about that, Donovan.
Oh, I showed you this one. My cousin did this one. She was commissioned to do a hat.
A hat?
It's too big for me, so she has to do another one because she is commissioned to do a hat, but this one is too big. If I got a big head.
That's nice.
I got a big head, so she realized that she have to do another one because the person's head is small. So
I like that. I would rock that. That's nice. Very nice. How much is a hat, Mama Hen?
Oh, this is hers, so she haven't given me a price yet, but I think it's up in the hundreds.
Very nice. So do you have patterns? How do you guys know how to make it so?
It's just automatic. It's an automatic counting, measuring. That's it. Wow. Basket makers has never measured unless there's a specific order and a special size.
Wow.
It's in the head. You just guess it.
So once you start, you just get the hang of it and you can just make anything.
You look at it and say, well, I think this is a 7-inch or 8 inches, but I'll measure this to be sure because the person if they have an 8-inch casserole dish and they say they want 8 inch, you got to measure because they have the dish. Yeah, you have to measure.
That is amazing work. Amazing. That hat is nice. I like it. I really, really like it. Love the hat.
Now there is another piece here on this mannequin.
I see that.
It's called this is the belt buckle.
Oh, so that's cool.
You can do either or with this one. You can wear it here or you can put it on your waist.
Very
because it's got two handles that holds the scarf back. Now you want to see the prize.
The prize, guys. Y'all got to see the prize. 30 inches. Look at that. That is fire. That's fire. So that's a commission piece.
This is a commission piece with Princeton University. It's going to be with a part of a traveling exhibition. We don't know when, but they're just getting everything together because I was working on this piece since last year and I finished it in January.
Beautiful. And that's how big did you say that was? 30 inches.
It was supposed to be 30 and I went over 31 inches in diameter. And it has very little sweetgrass, a little pine in the middle, a little brown in the middle is pine needles. The light color is sweetgrass, and everything is bulrush because it's based on how it was done in the early 1600s.
So the brown is the bulrush, the darker threading is the bulrush.
The dark one that finished out the basket is the bulrush.
It's the bulrush.
In the very dead center is the pine needles.
The pine needles, and then that little light area is the sweetgrass.
The sweetgrass. And I have a niece that I love her work that I commissioned her to do that piece for me only. And all of my fanners is done with Karen Manigault work. Just that piece. That's all I wanted her to do.
That little piece in the middle.
The piece with the pine needle and the sweetgrass. Every fan or basket that I own, Karen Manigault is the responsible person for doing that middle piece for me. The signature piece.
So can you tell us what that, because you told me the history of what that is.
Right. In the South, we grew a lot of rice here. We eat a lot of rice. Rice is a staple meal because if people have 15 children, there's grits and rice, and you eat rice every night.
Yep.
So this was used on the plantation for gathering rice, not this size.
Okay.
But it was called a winnowing basket. When they gather the rice, they will put the green in the basket, and then they take the two hand and throw it up in the air. It's called winnowing, and then the air and the breeze will blow the chaff away, and the green stays in the basket, and that's less cleaning you have to do with just picking it out all day long.
So that's innovation. They would take it and throw it in the air. The shaft
in the air.
The shaft that the
shaft blows away. The shaft blows away. The green stays in the basket.
Look at Africans. Look at
you have to use they use their brain.
They were amazing. And Mama Hen, how much you got to put on your credit card? How much would my debit card have to do to get that right there?
Which one of the cards you want to use?
The black card.
The Visa or the black card. This guy.
How much on the black card would I have to put?
The black card, this is 10.
10 bands, 10 G's. Woo! Listen, don't be playing with African art.
If it takes you a whole year to make 10 grand, it's really not enough.
But I'm just saying.
If that's all you're working on. But I go back and forth with that piece. I couldn't stay on that too long because your neck hurt, your back hurt, your leg hurt, everything hurt. By the time you get to 10 inches, you're going to have to take a break. Wow. So I would put it aside and then I'll go work on something else.
That is amazing work. And that is commissioned by Princeton University. We got a superstar over here. So that's going to be that's going to go places you don't even know where it's going to go, and they own it.
Yeah, they did a series of other basket makers here as well. It's not just my work only. So there are other basket makers that actually have some commission pieces as well.
That is absolutely beautiful. This art is amazing. I'm down in South Carolina. You have to make these hands work. I got to sit down with you. That's amazing.
You stay too busy.
Because I've never seen anything that big.
No. I did a table after Hurricane Hugo. That's the table that was traveling with the Smithsonian. They had it twice.
Wow.
It's shaped just like what I saw after the storm. Wild mushroom. And it traveled to the Smithsonian at least 2 times. And when it came back to South Carolina, the Askew family, who has the large collection, they bought it. So they have that piece.
Wow. That's wow. My neighbor I told you she has she made a Sweetgrass bassinet for the baby, a stroller. I cannot believe it's a stroller that was grass that could hold a child. Amazing. It's just like amazing.
But one thing I like with today's time is I like how the younger people are innovating with different styles and different. Well, you have the traditional pieces, and then you have pieces like how Donovan made in the frame, and so we have different people are doing different things, and they're getting awards and they're getting real big money for their stuff, and that's good because this is what art is about as well as history. So I'm glad that the recognition of the art standing out where people can, afford to pay for it and buy it and put them in museum and galleries and stuff like that.
That is so amazing. So if someone wanted to learn, because I'm very intrigued, you're talking 10 bands, we're going to have to sit down for 6 months and knock that out. But I mean, that's beautiful.
You can learn. No, you can learn. You can learn the basic of this art. If I was teaching it, you can learn the basic part just to learn how to do the base in about 2.5 hours. In about 2.5 hours. 2.5
hours. Wow. And you get better as you keep going. And the more you weave.
As you keep going, you get better. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So it's not hard to learn. It just takes the right teacher with patience to teach you, because some people can work the basket, but they can't teach it. Some can't teach their own children.
Wow.
So, but I urge all the basket makers who've got younger children and grandkids is to please teach them this art, because it won't be no history if we don't have anything to show. And in the next chapter of my life, I'm getting older. I'm 72.
72.
I would like to see the next generation. I put a program on before with Next Generation at Avery Institute, where I had children with Dr. Preshah, my sweetheart, she had me to come in and we did a workshop, and we had these kids learning how to do the Sweetgrass Baskets, on Saturdays. And we had a wonderful reception, and the parents was just blown away. And I think that should be continued, because I'm getting older. Somebody else might pick up. Donovan
Yeah.
might pick up. My daughter might pick up. I don't know. But I think the next generation is very important.
Very important
share,
for them.
because
Yes.
that's why we don't see too many people on the stands, because the older one have already died out.
That's it.
And
That's
the younger
it.
one is doing something else.
Yep. Sean Best says, I'm in the wrong business. I need to get to my basket weaving on deck. You better, bro. You better get them hands together. I'm trying to tell you.
He
And
can start off by cutting that palmetto out the tree right about now.
Yeah. Everyone is saying how beautiful your work is. And
Thank
Monica,
you.
she said something that I asked you. She said, do non-Black folk weave baskets?
Oh yeah, when I get commissioned to teach a class, I can't tell a person I can't teach you because you Black, Mexican. That's discriminating. And a lot of time they don't teach. They don't want to learn to sell. You may have one or two might try that, but they just want it for their own purpose, because they too, when they come to my class, they wind up buying stuff. But the idea is they get the understanding of how we learn how to do it and what's involved.
Got it.
To make a basket, and time consuming. Because I teach the class, I did 2 classes already at Drayton Hall, and I usually do 2 classes at Drayton Hall here in Mount Pleasant. In Charleston.
In Charleston.
So, but I travel all over the world, and I'm getting ready to go to Charlotte to teach a class in Charlotte. So I travel a good bit, but not much like I used to, because since COVID came, a lot of people don't want to have that close connection.
Got it. And Monica, the others got to learn what we know. That they in the building. So that's a question. The answer. They in the building. And it's so beautiful. I get it. It draws you. And when you're in South Carolina, guys, let me tell you, you see these baskets in so many different spaces. You see them in restaurants. You see them in the museum, and they just opened an African American museum. So you see the basket culture in Charleston is big. And they're so beautiful. You want to learn, I really want to learn. I just can't believe that the art can, and it's lucrative. Once you learn, it is lucrative. I mean, not everything's to be sold, but just to know the art, I think it makes sense.
Just to know the art and you learn something about the art is more important than anything in the world, because, I had a basket that somebody asked me to repair, and they shipped it and sent it in the mail to me to be repaired. It was my grandmother's piece. Oh, she said she had it 35 years.
It was your grandmother's?
It was her piece, because you can always remember, the signature piece of your family.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That story is amazing. How did you feel? How did it feel differently?
Well, I took it out of the box, and I took it out of the box, and I took it out of the box, and then I put it back in. I had to realize, I said, this can't be real. And then I realized that it was her work, because it was a purse. And I knew she had the signature of doing a purse like that.
That had to be something. That had to be something.
It took me a while.
So what was it falling apart, or how did
it just had a little piece of palmetto unraveling on the handle. I just put I soaked it down first. And these baskets too requires a little care. You would mist it with water maybe once a year, but if it's in a frame, you shouldn't have any problem. Okay. Right, because of the ground. It comes from the water, you got to give the water back to it.
Oh, wow. So you would need to spray your basket or anything once in a while or once a year with water. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just mist it in water. And if you got a series of them, just put them all in the bathtub, soak it in the water, and then let it dry out, air dry. And it won't hurt it.
It's sustainable. Look at that. That's when things come from the earth. Wow. So it comes from water.
Take it back.
Yes, that's amazing. My goodness. So, is this true? Because when it comes to years ago, like in braids, they used to put messages in braids. Slaves. Was the basket any messages, or the basket was just, did it have any signatures or anything special that, okay, this lady did that basket, like your grandmother's basket? Is it because of the weave, or she put a
because of the weave within your family, the weaving, but every basket maker is different. And
Mm,
no matter how the basket look, I never try to judge somebody's work. Um, the quality may not be the same, but it still represent part of your culture,
mm-hmm.
because maybe they weren't taught like how we were taught, and
Sure.
maybe they weren't as strict like my grandmother was strict. The
Mm-hmm.
the palmetto had to be stripped a certain size. The coiling has to be right. You couldn't use big thick rolls. Um, Everyone was taught different, and so to me, I really try not to discredit anybody's work, because that's the best that that person probably could have done. We
Got
all
it.
come from we came from the same part of the art world of the basketry and the history, but the way we were taught, some of us just do things a little bit different than others.
Got it.
And we
Got
never I never try to judge somebody work. I would never just say, oh, you could have done a little better, or
it. Mm-hmm,
this and
mm-hmm.
that. I could tell my children that, but
Yes.
I don't try to judge people, because that's the best that they could do.
Wow. So do
And
the
you know,
Weavers have an association? Do you guys talk? Do you share information?
you
How
know,
do you talk to each other?
back when my mom did basket, they used to meet on certain nights. They would go to each other's house, and they're like, it's like a camp meeting. Oh, but they go to each other's house.
Uh-huh.
They said, we go to Ethel house this Thursday, we go to Martha house this night, we go to this one. And they would sit and they just weave till 11 o'clock at night, and they produce their basket. And then the next week they go to the other person's house, but basket makers don't do that anymore. Everybody's just so involved with what they can do for
Yeah.
themselves.
Wow.
But
Sound like a knitting group. You know how knitting groups come
yeah,
together?
right,
They
right.
would come together and just wow.
Yeah,
Because that's how
but
you
I just don't want it to get where we don't have the young people involved.
mm-hmm.
That's my biggest worry and fear right now. Start young. You know, I started when I was
7.
and seven,
Whoa.
and then we had the opportunity to have the 5 generation basket at the Smithsonian in my family. I think I'm the only one out of all the basket makers have a 5 generation collection. I have two sets.
You are 5
Of
generations.
five. I have two sets of 5 generation baskets in my family that's been to the Smithsonian.
Amazing. Oh, that's absolute amazing. Ooh. Wow. So this is really history. Like I'm learning a lot. So all right. So is this anywhere else though? Because I've never seen these baskets up north. I've been to
Now,
Louisiana. I
from
haven't seen them
here,
in Louisiana. I have not seen them outside of South Carolina. Where
well,
else
even
does
if
that?
even if there isn't someplace else, it's because the family member might ship some material. My mom used to ship. She used to have me to ship the materials to New York to her sister. And I go to the post office, there's a box with the grass poking out, and they get anything liquid or perishable in there, and then the grass sticking out. And I go, no. But what's all this stuff here? La, la, la. Well, then just as and then I just pull up my little brochure and says, well, I'm
Oh, you
sending
were
this
shipping
material.
grass? I hear you.
Yeah, we have. That's the only way they could get it,
I love
you
it.
know.
Shipping the
So
grass.
yeah.
Wow.
So they wanted to keep on doing it, even though they were in New York. So my mom would say, well, we'll just pack some grass and send it to New York. And that's what we did to keep that family member active in the history, and then to continue to basket weaving.
Exactly. Now for your hands, because you typing down this technology, you get carpal tunnel, your fingers. Does it affect your fingers, or do you have any issues over time
No,
basket weaving?
believe it or not, I don't have too much problem with my hands working on baskets, because
Okay.
when I get tired, I just stop. But I find myself with arthritis, and then your legs get tired. You can't sit long. You got to prop your legs up because it'll get swollen. So you can't sit as long as you did when you were younger,
Mm-hmm.
because you start having different things going on with your body as you age with arthritis and stuff like that.
Yes, yes. So it's more the sitting, it's not the weaving.
Some people get carpal tunnel, and I think if you use a lot of that bulrush, the
Yes.
material is thick, and so
It's
you got to bring that palmetto to hold it tight. So you probably will get some friction with your hands.
with your hands. Yeah, because
Mhm.
it's definitely a crafting type
It
of
is. It
yeah.
is. It is. It is a craft.
It is a craft. So Monica Cooper says she's not convinced that folk are learning the craft for the sake of the culture. I guess I'm a cultural gatekeeper. Everything not for everybody. We got to keep something for ourselves. I get it. That's what the sister said. What you think about that, Mama Hen?
Well, we still keeping it. No matter what we do, we still keeping it. And if we're not keeping it, if we don't share it, I mean, what you die out, what do you call? How do you define keep?
And what I want to say to Monica is we don't want to learn our own things, unfortunately. They, you know,
Exactly. That's the
w-
point. That's the problem right
they
there.
we got to look at ourselves because we say it's not for everybody, but we busy
Yeah,
being fresh and Gucci, and we need to get into our history. So I'm not, listen, I
that's
love young
right.
people, but we are the first ones trying to do the other stuff when we need to learn our stuff.
Right.
And so, but
Exactly.
them people, they in our stuff. They want to know what we
Yeah,
doing.
they're
They
in our
want to,
stuff. They're in our stuff, and they're in it to learn the history, just like we should be teaching the next generation. And that's always my fear of not passing it on is the biggest fear. You're worried about who you teach, but if you know, why aren't you teaching your child? Your child come to school and say, "My grandmother know how to do it." Really? And you don't know how to do it? No, she won't teach me. I feel
that's,
bad, but then I
yeah,
still have to teach the child, you know?
yeah, you got to teach the
The
child.
fear, the fear shouldn't be the other person. The fear should be in ourselves to share what we have with our children, our grandkids, and just,
Hmm.
our people in general.
Mama Hen, we're gonna have to have you come to Baltimore because my ladies want to learn. The Bean Queen want to learn. I know that I think these ladies want to learn. We might have to make a little something symposium up here and weave up some baskets. Sisters, we got to think about that. But I mean, I want to learn. I'm coming to your porch. Sister Tracy said, yes, ma'am. See, the Bean Queen said she want to learn. I got a few other people want to learn. I think we got to bring you up here. You got your
They do
friend
is get,
Gigi is here. Gigi says, my talented friend. Um, Peace, Brother Ja. So yeah, I think the sisters in Baltimore want to learn. Mama Hen, would you be willing to come see us? I know we got to, I know it's gonna be fee-based.
that won't be a problem. That won't be a problem. We'll ship more sweetgrass in the mail to Baltimore.
Yeah, I'll bring it up with me and we'll come up together. We'll bring the seagrass. We got to think about
There you,
that because
there you
it looks
go.
like it's something that that needs to be shared. And a lot of times, as Northerners, but really we're in the Southern Belt. Baltimore is still a Southern
That's
state.
still Southern.
Yeah, so Maryland is a Southern state, but a lot of times we are, people think we're the North, but we need to learn some of the things that are indigenous to the South that hasn't made it up here. And me
Right.
being here, I know a lot of things. So that might be something because I got a lot of sisters saying they want to learn. Sister Monica want to learn. Donovan Snype, your son, he said Southwest is having a sale. Get on the plane, he said. Donovan ain't playing with y'all. Get on the plane.
Southwest is having a sale. Donovan trying to save his mama.
Listen, Mama Hen, the Bean Queen said, I'll feed y'all and find a location. Oh, we get ready to make this happen.
Oh
We
yeah,
about to
and
make
it
this
can
happen,
happen.
Mama Hen.
You just have to make it happen. I covered 11 states in 1 year when I was younger. I mean, Baltimore. What are you waiting on? I'm getting older, and I doubt if anybody is really ready to do an extensive teaching. But I've covered a lot of states.
Well,
I
you
have
know
never
what?
done anything in Baltimore.
I'm definitely gonna think about it because I'm trying to start my little farm. And maybe we can have the ladies come to the farm.
Not in June and July here.
No, it can't be during hurricane season.
No.
It gotta be before hurricane season. But yeah, but I think Baltimore and that'd be something for you to experience. We're gonna talk about that for sure.
Yeah,
So
that's part two.
yeah, that's part two. But we love this basket weaving. I love the history of it. It seems so. You know what it seems? It seems so Black, so African. It's so us.
And it's
It,
so close to home.
mm. Yeah, it seems like this is something we own. And a lot of times, you can teach Monica, you can teach other folk, but they don't have our talent. They don't have the way we put things together. So you can teach everybody, but they can't put it out like the African. I just really believe that.
Right.
Once we put
Right.
our stamp on it, it has a whole nother swag. So unfortunately, it's hard. If you're a teacher, you cannot tell people they can't take your class. You
Right.
know, yeah.
Right.
So I
And
think
I had a lot of slap back from the basket makers community, but that don't bother me. They can say whatever they want to say. I mean, they don't own me.
ooh,
I do what I want to do. It's from the heart, and it's not
I
like
hope
I'm. It's
y'all
not
heard
like
that.
It's not like I'm taking advantage of not taking care of my craft and my culture. I know what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Because when it comes down to us doing stuff, we say it to the last minute, and then we change our mind, and then you didn't sign up and got all the materials ready. and we've changed our mind in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because we do it because of money, but we do it because you sharing, and when you share, you get an opportunity to travel and tell people what you have. You just feel like you want to share, and I'm happy about it. I don't feel bad about what I do. I love it. I do it. I was doing it for 30 something years, and I'm still standing. I mean, nothing different, nothing bad happened because I shared it. I've got people in my class that's white and some that's black, and I just like, what can I do?
Whoever wants to learn, you teach.
And most of the time, they don't do it to say, "Oh, I got their culture and I got this now. I'm gonna do a basket stand, or I'm gonna put my stuff in the gallery." And out of all the African American people in the world, you think it's going to be over 200 or 300 people, white or black or whatever, do that?
And then
Some
people
of
don't
us
know
are
how time consuming it is. It's
very
time
time
consuming.
consuming.
It's very laborious. It's not something you
Right.
could just throw together. So even if you learn, you got to really you got to stay on it to get a technique. And you got to do it a lot. And it's time consuming. It does not, you
It's
can't
very
sit down.
time.
It's time consuming. Yeah.
Right.
It's like a
So
machine.
when they're judging, they ought to try to figure out a way how they can learn.
Ooh. Well, I think
And that will help some of the problem. That will help some of the problem.
I think you have ended the conversation. I think you told them all.
No, I'm just being real.
And I want you to be real. I want you to be real.
Yeah, it's not like they don't have it's not like they don't have an opportunity. They can get an opportunity. It's just like you form your opinion, and I've been forming my opinion with this for more than 50 years or more. So you're gonna get that no matter what you do, whether it's basket, whether it's anything.
Anything.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's just that people just voice their opinion. You just listen to them.
Yeah.
And you keep on doing what you want to do.
It's beautiful though, in a lot of ways. I don't know. I understand not sharing it with everyone, but you're teaching a class. It's just like, we were the braiders, but I've seen Asian braiders. I see white braiders. I see Mexican. Everyone's braiding now. And so this thing that started with our hands is moved along cultural lines. So I think that it happens because it's very hard to keep our greatness in our community.
We have to be involved. We have to get our children away from the iPad and phone and teach them some culture as well. So we pass on judgment, but we need to find a way to say, well, we got a group of kids here at the church and we want them to do this basket. I don't think I've ever done a church workshop, not even the one that I go to.
Wow.
You got young kids in there. I mean, 7 and up. You're looking for something for them to do, but there's only one church that I went to here that I've been doing workshop on the summer. Not even the one that I go to. But so where you want to start? I mean, the criticism and all of the blaming that you're putting on the artist is you have to start in house. When are you going to start in house?
Well, I think I was going to tell you let a jewel, but you think that you just dropped the jewel. So that's the jewel for the night. And listen, what you're doing is beautiful. I'm so happy to have you part of BLakWomen History Month. We almost here an hour. I know it doesn't feel like it, but we've been here almost an hour. And please continue to cultivate our history and tell the story. It's like your pieces you're the griot with pieces. You're showing your creations and your creativity, and you've passed it on throughout your family. So that's a beautiful thing. Donovan will pass it, and it will continue to move, and that's beautiful. And so, listen, what I've seen tonight. I'm so inspired. I want to learn. I want to get me a spoon and get into that Sweetgrass. So and I see the sisters want to learn too. I want the brothers to learn too. We gotta.
Well, they can. You can be a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The men need to learn too, because it's really a great. I had a cousin. He died recently, but he was a great basket. Oh, he had a lot of sisters, and so he was doing baskets. Peter Williams.
Oh yeah, I know Peter. Yes.
Yeah. Pete. Yeah, that's my.
Yeah.
His wife is my cousin.
Emma.
Yes. Yeah. She's
yes.
yeah. So that's my father's niece. So You know, Peter used to do the baskets, and he's a
Yeah,
man.
Peter had a stand. Peter was on at a
Stand.
stand by his house. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
Peter had a stand by his house. Yeah.
Yes. So you
So
guys see
that's
how
good.
familiar I am with Mama Hen. We come from the
Yes,
same spot.
you're connected. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
come from the same spot. So guys, this has been beautiful. We really appreciate you laying this history and
Thank
showing
you.
us the
Thank
art.
you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. This has been amazing. I want you guys to please like, share, subscribe. Let's black up the algorithm. Let's throw these baskets in the algorithm. Make BlakBoX Radio more successful. I really appreciate you guys tonight coming through. Like, share, subscribe. Check us out on BlakBoxRadio.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube. I appreciate everyone. We had Donovan, Sister Monica, the Bean Queen, Brother Everett. What's up, Brother Everett? Sister Tracy. We had your friend Gigi, your Sean Bess, your nephew. So we had Jason Herbert. So we had a pretty good
That's good.
Ricardo Ray. I'm not sure who that is, but thank you everyone for coming through. We really appreciate that. Listen, we on next Thursday. We got Sister Tracy. She's touched every crown in Baltimore. Miss Magic Fingers. We got Magic Fingers, Sister Tracy on the last of the BLakWomen History Month series next Thursday, the 28th. Wednesday, we got Doc in the Box with Dr. Dar, where we're going to talk about Black relationships. Me and a psychologist, we throws it out there in a digital healing circle. Come through, guys. Next Wednesday, next Thursday. Peace. Have a great weekend. We box up and out. Let me get them deuces. Mama Hen, you got some deuces?
Thank you.
You gotta get the deuces. Deuces. Where your deuces? She looking at me. There you go. Good night, God. There you go. Double deuce. Don't go nowhere.
Okay.
You don't go nowhere.
You.
You stay there.
You.
Good night, guys. You stay.